What if I told you that in the next 12 minutes you could literally rewire your brain, that you could think sharper, feel stronger, and finally stop living on autopilot? Stay with me, because after this, you won't see your mind or your potential the same way again. You have one of the most powerful machines in the universe sitting right between your ears. It doesn't matter where you came from, what mistakes you've made, or how old you are. Your brain is still growing, still learning, still capable of more than you've ever imagined. But here's the problem: most of us don't use it consciously. We wake up, grab our phones, scroll through chaos, and let the world tell our brain what to think. Today that changes. In the next few minutes, I want you to realize that your brain is not fixed. It's plastic. It's moldable. It's like clay that reshapes itself every time you focus, move, or challenge it. You can literally upgrade your mental power by changing what you do for a few minutes a day. No, not magic, neuroscience. And when you understand how to use it, everything about your life changes. Let's talk about 5 small but life-altering ways to build a better brain starting today. Movement is the ignition switch for your brain. The moment you start moving your body, your entire system wakes up, your blood starts pumping, oxygen rushes to your brain, and your neurons begin firing faster. It's like flipping the power breaker in your mind. Science shows that physical movement increases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, often called Miracle-Gro, for your brain. This chemical helps your brain grow new connections and strengthens existing ones. That means every time you move, you are not just exercising your body, you are literally shaping the architecture of your mind. Think about that for a second. You can sit still and stay stuck in your thoughts, or you can move your body and shift your mental state instantly. When you feel foggy, unmotivated, or anxious, your instinct might be to think your way out of it. But the truth is, you can't think your way out of a sluggish brain. You have to move your way out. Movement interrupts the mental spiral. It sends a signal to your brain that it's time to engage, focus, and show up. You don't need a gym, fancy shoes, or even a plan. You just need to move for a few minutes. Walk around your room, stretch your arms, bounce in place, or dance to a song that lights you up. Within moments, you'll feel the difference. Your heart rate rises, your breathing deepens, and your brain begins releasing dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals that fuel motivation and focus. That's not luck. That's biology. Most people think energy creates action. But it's the other way around. Action creates energy. The reason you feel drained isn't because you're lazy. It's because your body and brain are disconnected. When you start moving, even in small ways, you reestablish that connection. You give your brain what it needs to wake up. That's why morning movement is so powerful. It sets the tone for your entire day. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-minute walk, some push-ups beside your bed, or a quick stretch before coffee. Those few minutes are enough to switch your brain from survival mode to creation mode. You stop reacting and start directing. There's another layer to this. Movement also teaches your brain discipline and consistency. Every time you show up for those 12 minutes, even when you don't feel like it, you build a habit loop of activation. Your brain learns that movement equals clarity, focus, and energy. So the next time you start feeling stuck or anxious, your mind will automatically crave movement as the solution. It becomes your personal reset button. That's powerful because it puts control back in your hands. Think of your body as the remote control for your brain. When you press play, by moving, everything inside you comes online, your focus sharpens, your mood lifts, and your creativity flows. You don't need motivation to start moving, you need movement to create motivation. That's the secret most people miss. Your brain isn't waiting for inspiration, it's waiting for you to take action. And the moment you do, you're already halfway to becoming the person you want to be. Your brain is shaped by what you repeatedly focus on. Every thought you entertain, every image you replay, and every emotion you dwell on leaves a physical imprint in your neural circuitry. Focus acts like a sculptor, carving patterns into your brain that become habits of thought and behavior. When you constantly think about what's wrong, your brain wires itself for stress and negativity. But when you train your attention toward what's working, what's possible, and what you're grateful for, you begin to strengthen the neural pathways that promote confidence, optimism, and clarity. The mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's rehearsed. It believes what you focus on. That means you hold the power to decide what kind of brain you're building every single day. Most people allow their focus to drift wherever the world pushes it. They wake up and immediately hand their attention to a screen full of chaos, emails, headlines, notifications, and then wonder why they feel anxious before breakfast. Your focus is fuel, and if you pour it into noise, distraction, or fear, your brain learns to operate from those states. But when you start the day with intention, when you take a few minutes to direct your attention towards something meaningful, you teach your brain what matters. That's not just a mindset trick. It's neuroplasticity in action. The more you focus on progress, the more your brain searches for evidence of it. It's like training a search engine. It will find whatever you ask it to look for. The human brain has an incredible ability to filter information through what scientists call the reticular activating system, or RAS. This system decides what's important and what's background noise based on your focus. If you start telling yourself that you're stuck, your RAS filters out possibilities and keeps you seeing proof of being stuck. But if you focus on solutions, growth, or learning, your RAS highlights opportunities, resources, and ideas that align with that mindset. It's not magic. It's the brain doing what it's designed to do, make your dominant thoughts real. The challenge is to become conscious of what you feed it. You can practice this by setting focused checkpoints throughout your day. Ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? If it's worry, shift it to gratitude. If it's comparison, shift it to self-progress. Even that small act of redirection changes the wiring of your brain. You're telling it, this is the pattern I want to strengthen. Over time, that focus becomes automatic. You stop defaulting to fear or frustration and start defaulting to clarity and action. The quality of your life is directly linked to the quality of your focus. Whatever you consistently give attention to expands. If you want a better brain, train it to look for growth, not danger. Feed it with purposeful thoughts. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. That's how you move from reacting to life to creating it. From being a passenger in your mind to being the one driving it forward. Stillness is not the absence of thought. It's the moment your brain finally gets a chance to breathe. In a world that's constantly buzzing, notifications, deadlines, voices, and noise, your mind rarely gets quiet enough to recover. Most people don't realize that mental fatigue doesn't come from doing too much, it comes from never pausing. The brain is a high-performance machine, but even the most powerful engines overheat without rest. When you allow yourself a few minutes of stillness every day, you give your brain permission to reset, refocus, and repair itself. It's like pressing the refresh button on your mental screen, clearing the clutter, and making room for clarity to return. Stillness doesn't have to mean sitting cross-legged on a mountain or meditating for hours. It can be as simple as taking 3 deep breaths before a meeting, sitting in silence for 2 minutes after waking up, or going for a quiet walk without your phone. These moments of calm slow your nervous system down and lower cortisol, the stress hormone that clouds your thinking. As your breathing steadies, your heart rate drops and your brain shifts from fight or flight mode to a state of calm alertness. That's when creativity and focus begin to flow naturally. You're not trying to think your way to peace. You're allowing peace to create space for better thinking. Neuroscientists have found that stillness activates the default mode network, a system in the brain responsible for self-reflection, memory processing, and creative insight. When you stop forcing your mind to work, it starts connecting dots in the background. That's why some of your best ideas appear in the shower, during a walk, or in the quiet moments before sleep. Your brain uses stillness to sort through noise, find patterns, and form solutions. You just have to get out of its way. But we've been conditioned to equate stillness with laziness, to believe that slowing down means falling behind. The truth is, stillness is not a break from progress. It's a part of it. Without moments of calm, your brain can't consolidate learning or generate new ideas. When you make stillness a practice, even for a few minutes a day, you train your brain to regulate emotion and build resilience. You become less reactive and more responsive. Instead of being pulled by every distraction or setback, you develop the ability to pause, breathe, and choose your response. That single pause is power. It gives your logical brain time to catch up with your emotional impulses. Over time, those moments of stillness become your mental anchor. They remind you that clarity doesn't come from control, it comes from space. In a culture that glorifies constant motion, choosing stillness is an act of strength. It's how you reclaim your attention, recharge your focus, and remind your brain who's in charge. Stillness is not about doing nothing. It's about creating the space to do everything better. When you give your mind that gift, it repays you with balance, insight, and the quiet confidence to move through life with purpose and peace. Your brain was built to grow through challenge. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you are giving your mind a reason to adapt, to stretch, and to evolve. The human brain thrives on novelty. It's wired to seek out new experiences and solve new problems. But when life becomes repetitive, when every day looks the same, the brain starts to slow down. It stops firing new connections and begins to operate on autopilot. That's why learning something new or doing something difficult feels uncomfortable. It's your brain's way of rewiring itself. It's growing. That tension you feel when you try to learn a new skill or face a tough situation isn't a sign of weakness. It's evidence that your brain is forming new neural pathways that didn't exist before. When you challenge your brain, whether by reading something complex, learning a language, or trying a skill you've never attempted, you activate neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells. This process strengthens memory, boosts problem-solving ability, and increases mental agility. The discomfort you feel in those moments is growth in real time. It's like lifting weights for your mind. The more you push, the stronger your mental muscle becomes. But here's what stops most people: they interpret struggle as failure. In reality, struggle is the signal that progress is happening. If you're not being challenged, your brain isn't changing. Small challenges done consistently have a compounding effect. You don't need to take massive leaps, you just need to stretch your limits a little each day. It could be as simple as using your non-dominant hand, taking a different route to work, or tackling a topic that intimidates you. Each time you do something unfamiliar, you're teaching your brain to adapt faster and think more creatively. That adaptability is one of the most powerful tools you can build. It prepares you to handle uncertainty with calm instead of panic. The more you expose your brain to challenge, the more resilient it becomes in the face of stress. When you stop avoiding discomfort, you stop living in fear of it. Your brain begins to associate challenge with growth instead of threat. That's a massive shift. You become the kind of person who doesn't shy away from change. You welcome it. You begin to trust that you can figure things out even when you don't know how yet. That mindset turns fear into fuel. Every time you push through resistance, you're rewriting your brain's code. You're proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought possible. The beauty of challenging your brain is that it never stops responding. No matter your age or background, neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to rewire and grow, never goes away. The only thing that stops it is stagnation. So when life gets too comfortable, that's your cue to shake things up. Try something new. Learn something difficult. Push past the edge of what feels easy. Because on the other side of that challenge is a sharper, stronger, more confident version of you waiting to emerge. Your brain is always listening to the words you speak, and it believes every single one of them. The thoughts that run through your mind and the words that leave your mouth act like commands to your brain, shaping the way you see yourself and how you show up in the world. When you say, "I can't do this," your brain doesn't argue. It accepts it as truth and shuts down the part of you that's capable of finding solutions. But when you say, "I can figure this out," your brain goes to work searching for evidence to prove you right. The language you use is not just communication, it's programming. Every sentence you speak trains your brain to either expand or contract. It's the difference between building courage or building fear. Most people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They replay mistakes, criticize their efforts, and label themselves with words that chip away at their confidence. Over time, that self-talk becomes a belief system, and beliefs shape behavior. If you constantly tell yourself you're not smart enough, your brain learns to filter out information that proves otherwise. But if you start saying, "I'm learning," "I'm growing," or "I'm capable," your brain begins to focus on the progress you're making. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about speaking truth that your potential can rise to meet. Your words set the boundaries of your reality. Change the language and you change the limits. Neuroscience shows that self-talk activates the same parts of the brain as actual experiences. That means your brain reacts to what you say as if it's really happening. When you say you're tired, your brain lowers your energy. When you say you're confident, it releases the chemicals that help you feel that way. You can use this power intentionally. Start your day with affirmations that build the mindset you want to live with. Speak words that support the person you're becoming, not the one you're trying to outgrow. Say, "I'm in control of my mind. I'm focused. I can do hard things." Over time, those words carve new neural pathways that make confidence and resilience your default state. Pay attention to how you talk about yourself, especially in small moments. When you mess up, instead of saying, "I'm such an idiot," shift it to, "I made a mistake, but I can fix it." That tiny change keeps your brain in problem-solving mode instead of shame mode. The words you choose determine whether your brain shuts down or gears up. The more you practice empowering language, the faster your brain learns to respond to it automatically. You become your own coach instead of your own critic. Your voice is the most consistent sound your brain hears. It can either be the noise that limits you or the rhythm that drives you forward. Every time you speak, you're either programming fear or programming freedom. The choice is yours, and it begins with a single sentence spoken with intention and belief. You've just spent 12 minutes unlocking the truth about the most powerful force you'll ever own, your brain. Think about what that means. You don't have to wait for a miracle, a sign, or the perfect moment. You already have everything you need sitting right between your ears. The key is how you use it. Move your body to activate it. Focus your attention to shape it. Find stillness to recharge it. Challenge it so it keeps growing. And speak to it like it's listening, because it is. Your brain becomes whatever you consistently feed it, and from this moment forward, you get to decide what that will be. Every time you move with purpose, you're telling your brain, "I'm alive and ready." Every time you shift your focus toward progress instead of problems, you're rewriting your story. Every time you choose stillness in a loud world, you're building clarity where chaos once lived. Every time you face a challenge, you're proving that growth is your natural state. And every time you use your words with intention, you're designing the reality you want to live in. That's not motivation. It's science meeting self-awareness. Your brain is not fixed. You are not stuck. You are not too late, too old, or too far gone. The next version of you is just a few new thoughts, a few brave actions, and a few intentional minutes away. You don't need to wait for the world to change. Change the way you think, and your world will follow. So, when you leave here today, promise yourself one thing. Don't just listen to this, live it. Move every day. Focus with intention. Protect your stillness. Seek challenge. Speak power. If you give your brain 12 minutes a day, it will give you back the rest of your life, sharper, stronger, and more alive than ever before. Thank you for spending your time, your energy, and your attention here today. I hope these 12 minutes remind you of how extraordinary you already are and how limitless your potential really is. Go out there, use your brain like the incredible tool it is, and remember, after this, you are not the same. you are better, bolder, and ready for whatever comes next. Thank you, and I'll see you on the other side of your next great thought.